Let us offer our consecration to the Lord. Lord, we offer up to you this day, and we ask that your name be glorified so that we may come to know you, love you, and serve you, so that we may come to worship you, and that we may come to do your will. And we ask this through Christ our Lord. Well, today we are looking at Genesis. We're going to look at the 6th chapter of Genesis, verses 5 through 8, and then the 7th chapter of Genesis 1 through 5, and then verse 10. Well, again, you know, all of you regular listeners know that I don't read these readings on the air. You have to follow along if you'd like to know what they are. And they're the daily readings from Mass, so you can find them in your regular daily missal. And there are various brands out there. There's Magnificat, there's The Word Among Us, among others. And also there's Bible.usccb.org, where you'll find it and just look up daily readings. And then you can go to the date that we're dealing with. Well, today, of course, is the 18th of February. Now, we've moved off of Adam and Eve completely, and now we're into the story of Noah. Here's the thing to look at Noah. What does the story of Noah tell us about? It tells us that first, humanity had a bad inclination, and because of that, wickedness grows in humanity. Now, this is an understanding. Where does this wickedness come from? Go all the way back to Adam and Eve. It started with Adam and Eve. By the way, interesting thing to think about. Someone brought this to my attention recently. We all understand, we understand that Mary and Jesus were born without sin. And so those were the two. What if I were to tell you there were four? What? Many who are listening right now may go, yeah, of course, Father, there were four. And actually there were, but it didn't strike me until someone brought it to my attention. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. There were four. Adam and Eve were born without sin. But they sinned because they were tempted by the serpent, who we know is the devil. However, we're looking at this and we see this inclination towards sin. Now, nothing is described here about what evil they did. And this is an important consideration. But what we know by following the Lord and the Lord's great patience is the evil that they do is really, really, really evil. Because God is very patient. We can see that consistently in the Old Testament. So we know the evil that we do. Maybe one of the things I can bring up is one of my favorite examples of this, but it's an R-rated movie. And I know many people will say, don't watch an R-rated movie. And so I'm not recommending it to you, but I'm going to tell you it's there. And if you were to go see it, you have to realize it is an R-rated movie, and it is to the edge of the R. Although it's, it's based on violence more than anything else. So I'm not recommending to it, but it's an interesting principle, and it's called Event Horizon. You will find the principle it's based on in at least two movies. Event Horizon is the first one. And also, that principle used in Event Horizon was also used in Interstellar, which is not a bad movie. It's not it might be R-rated. I don't think so. It's a long movie. It's an excellent movie. And I always recommend it, and I love confirmation students to see it. So what is the difference between the two? So, what is that principle? So the principle is this, that there is this part of the universe, but you can leave that part and go into another part and save time. Essentially, I know this is not at all said in either movie. It's not even close, but it is the canal zone of the universe. That's the best way to put it without giving things away. But what comes out in Event Horizon, which is done, it was done so well that they had to cut it all out to make it an R-rated movie, and that footage is supposedly lost. And that is that when you leave the order of the universe, you go into where there is no order in the universe, and that's the evil. And that section of film that was lost, it's about, according to people who are experts in this, it's about 30 minutes, was so evil. Portrayed evil so intensely that they couldn't give it an R rating. And they actually gave it an NC-17 rating, so they had to cut all that out, and supposedly the footage is lost. That would give us an idea of what we're talking about in this part of Genesis. You're looking at intense evil. You're clearly looking at some forms of human sacrifice, if not murder, outright murder. You're looking at oppression and violence. You're looking at really intense evil. That's the kind of evil that you can expect that would be found in the time of Noah. We're going to talk more about this on the other side of the break. You're listening to St. Anthony Overnight from St. Anthony Parish in Allston, Massachusetts, right here on WEZE and at CatholicAudiomedia.com and your favorite podcast platform. You can now leave a message for us, which we can air and discuss on this program. Just call 617-297-7452. That's 617-297-7452. 617-297-7452. Feel free to call, leave a comment, a question, or even feedback, and we may play it on the air. I can discuss your comment or question as well, so give that a try. 617-297-7452, 617-297-7452. And this month in February, I'm asking everyone to pray that we can continue the broadcast. The podcast will go on forever, but we're praying that we can continue the broadcast. And the reason is because the broadcast, we need... I put in for a grant looking for the broadcast. By the way, we're not asking the government for the grant. I don't believe in taking government money as part of the church. So that's out. So don't worry about that. But we are praying for a grant. Now, whether or not we get it, that's up to, a lot of factors. But what I'm going to ask you to do is to say a prayer. And to pray that we can get the funding that we need to continue the broadcast. So the way you can tell me how you're doing that is just let us know. You heard the phone number, 617-297-7452, 617-297-7452. You can also send us an email. You can contact us through email at producer@CatholicAudiomedia.com. That's producer@CatholicAudiomedia.com. You can also send an email by clicking on the website, ST for Saint, STAnthonyAlston.org, or you can do it through CatholicAudiomedia.com and clicking on contact, either way. You can also send us a U.S. Postal Service mail, and that would be a letter. That would be 43 Holton Street, Allston, Massachusetts, 02134. That's 43 Holton Street, Allston, Massachusetts, 02134. And send it to Father Robert J. Carr. That's me. So if you do that, any one of those ways is fine. By the way, don't forget you have an invitation to our 10 o'clock a.m. Mass every single Sunday. It's chanted Mass. And we are here at 43 Holton Street, Allston, Massachusetts, 02134. So we're talking about this whole case of Noah. So people have turned evil, and but we have Noah and his family are the only ones. Now, this is where God... I keep starting every sentence with now. I got to stop doing this. This is where God is telling Noah that he's going to start all over, that there is great evil. And I told you, the evil that we're talking about is really, really evil. So he's going to start all over. And he's promising the 40 days of rain. Interesting thing, and we're going to see another code here, okay? Noah, which you're going to see tomorrow, is going to... actually going to see it today too, is going to collect all the animals 2 by 2 because he's going to repopulate. The Lord, through Noah, is going to repopulate the earth once the water subsides. Now, there it is again. We can turn around. Stop saying now. Father, just stop saying now, will ya? So anyway, when we look at that, we can understand that water covered the earth. And there are people that say, oh, well, that's just a myth. That's some Bible story. Well, here's the thing, and this is part of that whole anthropology thing that absolutely fascinates me. Every culture has a flood story. It's amazing. And among those cultures, which I have a fascination with are the Aztecs and the Incas. Now, why is that interesting? Because the Aztecs and the Incas never had any contact with the Middle East. We may believe that they came from originally what is now China and probably Siberia and probably Asia. Well, Asia is a better word to put it because that would mean all of Asia. And maybe they crossed through a land bridge. There's a couple things there, and then came down from the north. But still, there is absolutely no indication that there was a connection between these two cultures, except for maybe at their very origins. It's believed among evolutionary biologists and anthropologists that humanity started in Africa and grew from there. So obviously there'd be some connection, but not to the level that we see in the Bible. We just don't. There's no cultural connection. So this fascinates me. Why is it that all cultures have a flood story, and then people can turn around who don't know anything and just say, no, that's just a Bible story. That really didn't happen. Well, we all know that Kansas was once under an ocean. We know that. So somewhere along the line, that's just a fascinating story, and that's the reality. So that understood, there really was a flood, and the Noah part is part of the story, but can people say there was never a flood? Nope. It is scientifically been proven true. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a blessed day. I want to call your attention to Catholic TV, which offers great faith-filled, family-friendly programming 24 hours a day. You can find your cable channel at www.getcatholictv.com, and you can watch online on the free apps or check out the YouTube channel. Daily Mass, Rosaries, the Divine Mercy Chaplet, and the Our Lady of Perpetual Help Novena are all available online and on demand. Check out CatholicTV.com. If you're searching for a meaningful spiritual experience, look no further than St. Anthony's Parish in Allston, Massachusetts. Join us at 43 Holton Street in between Soldiers Field Road and the Mass Pike. Immerse yourself in the complete St. Anthony's Parish encounter through our 10 o'clock a.m. chanted Mass. Whether you're a Catholic seeking a parish to call home or someone looking for spiritual guidance, our welcoming community is here for you. Visit our website at www.stanthonyalston.org for more information. St. Anthony's Parish, where faith finds a home.